Hello, welcome to a new episode of SketchUp.US, SketchUp for us. Today we will talk about roofs. Basically, how to have a nice roof, a complex roof, basically for different houses, and I will show you how to do that in a simple way, especially for the complex intersection roofs. So let's start with an example. So first of all, if you want to draw a roof, of course, we'll start with a rectangle, and again, we can use something like 5 meters by let's say 8 meters. So it's a rectangle which has got an odd shape. Okay, so the easiest way to make a roof, of course, you can just draw a line. You take from the middle to the middle, and you select a line by clicking space bars, and you just push it up by move, or you can click M on the keyboard, and on the blue axis you move this line on the vertical side. So let's say in this case 3 meters. Okay, so here is a nice roof for a house, and if on the bottom we'll build a rectangle, as you can see, we have our roof very well done. Now, let's say you want to have this a little bit more complex, yeah? So let's say we have the gables, and also this is like a roof cut in, let's say 45 degrees, okay? In that particular case, you can just, let's move back that line. Basically, we can just move this down. So we'll select the line, and after that we move it. And again, it's no difference. Basically, we have a plan view of the roof. Ideal, we should draw a line at 45 degree. And there are many ways to do it. Either you can draw a line outside and rotate it, or a simple trick will be to just look to the sign over there. You see that dashed line, that always is going to draw a square. So you can just draw a square, and after that a line from here to here. And we know it's 45 degree. We know that was at the middle. If I will draw it here, I know those lines are at 45 degree. So basically 45 degrees here, 45 degrees here, then therefore I have the roof. So we'll erase whatever we don't need, in this example those two lines, and again we can just select this line and move it up on the vertical, and let's take a look what we're gonna have. Make sure this line, the dashed line, is blue, which means it's on the vertical, and we can click 3, and here you go, we have our roof line. Okay, in the same way we can do it for the other side. And again, if you want to get rid of the end points, I said it on my previous one, you go on style, you go on edit for the model type of style, and again click on the endpoints, and that endpoint is gone. So therefore you have a clear view where are the endpoints. Okay, so you can draw a rectangle again, and you complete your roof also on this side. Let's say we want to have a small complex roof. As I said, you build the rectangle, you build another rectangle which will be a square, and use the diagonal to have the lines at 45 degrees, and after that we just move the rectangle out. So I just want to make you notice about something. You know, each time when you move on the vertical, let's say we move this as 2 meters, saying. If you do that, notice when you move the line on the bottom, you're not gonna have an enclosed volume. Always I'm building a rectangle on the bottom, and in this case you click on R and you build a rectangle. And after you have this, you have basically two pyramids which you can compose it, you can add it together. If I will move it right now, not being components, you will have some issues with the model. So I always strongly recommend to select it and make it as a component. And again, our mapping systems components, you can see the other videos which I have about the components. So after you have the two components, you can just use the solid modification tools. So I can move this one, for instance, I can move it from here to here. And if I want to move it, let's say if I want to have the same slope, I can just double click on the component and I can take that line and move it on the vertical until it's gonna have the intersection with the other edge. So I can do that, and therefore I just have the same slope of the roof. Basically this slope is the same as the other slope. And again, you can move this on the side, whatever you like. Select the object which you want to move, and you move it on the side, let's say another 2 meters. And here you go, you have the volume. But there are two volumes which are not together. So if I want to make only one volume, I just select everything, and you can click on Union, or you can click also on the shell. And now, as you can see, the whole volume, it's following a house roof, and the intersection between the volume, the words automatically created. Those are the intersection. Another small trick which I want to give it to you. Let's say if you want to build a square one. Let's say 6 by 6. Yeah. So ideal, I will use the same principle, but when I'm doing the diagonals, as you can see, it's not really a line, it's a point. Well, if you want to lift this one, here is a trick. You just build another line, and instead of building the faces like this, which is gonna create inside other faces, you can use a trick in this way. You basically just try to move up that line. So basically you select this line which is in the middle and move it up. You click on M and you just face. Make sure always the faces are aligned. So you select all this. As you can see, it's got a darker color, which means I need to reverse the faces. So you can click on this one and you click reverse faces. So you can do that as well. This looks like my computer is going slow. And again, make sure you made this as a component. So you select everything, right click. I have a small issue. Make a component and create. And again, if you go inside, you select everything, right click, and reverse faces to have the correct face. Now remember, that is a shell, it's a mesh. I didn't build up the base, so I need to go back and build a rectangle, and now I can have volume, and I can move this one, this volume, I can move it on the side, and as you can see, I can have a nice complex volume with the previous building. And again, I can move it on the side, let's say 2 meters, maybe it's too much, maybe 1 meter, and another 1 meter on the side, and again, I have another shape over there. Usually, in architecture, if you make this a full house, so you know you make it as a other shell or as a union, you're gonna have the sides, but this is not commonly used in architecture because this is gonna create some issues with the water. So you're gonna have actually another line from here to the face. So we can do it up to the face, and you just create two faces like this. Okay. Oops. So you need to make sure you have a line from here to here, and after that you create your two faces. Now notice that I'm not in the object, you know. is not in the component object. So if I want to add this inside, I can just reverse the faces again. But if I want to add it inside of this component, I will just need to, wow, what's going on with the reverse faces? Right click and you click reverse faces. That is okay, this one is not okay. Okay, my mouse has got some issues anyway. We click on reverse faces, but again, those are not, those two faces which I just built, they are not part of the component. So here is a trick. You select them, you cut them and you paste them. So basically you select them and you use Command X or Control X on Windows, Command X on Mac, and after that double click on the object, and instead of using Control V on Windows or Command V on Mac, you just go and on Edit you have Paste in Place. So that is gonna paste your object right where it was before. So as you can see, now I have the component with the roofs build it, and it's a nice roof for a future house. All right, thank you. Hope you like it, enjoy it, and feel free to subscribe.